What's poppin'? It's your boy Jay the Comedian. How y'all doing today? How am I doing? I feel good. I'm doing great. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about a very interesting subject. But before we get started, this is an ExJw video, so you know what to do. Hit the like button and make sure you leave a comment to help the YouTube algorithm show it to as many people as possible. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. You have very nice nose hair. A lot of people won't compliment you on your nose hair, so since I did it, you should be more likely to subscribe to my channel. Anyway, today I want to talk to you guys about brainwashing. Now, this is a subject that's really big and it's gonna take multiple videos, and this is the first of many, but we really need to understand and talk about what exactly brainwashing is. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. Let go! I'll play that again. So when it comes to brainwashing, it's done for several reasons. Some people do it for money, some people do it for power, some people do it for control, some people do it for all three. But usually what they do to people is pretty much the same thing over and over again. The tactics are usually very similar. So my goal going forward with these several videos I'm going to be making is to better equip people to handle and fight brainwashing. I want to put you in the best position possible to combat brainwashing whenever it rears its ugly head. The first thing that you need to know is that you are brainwashed. I don't care who you are, I don't care what you do. In some way, form, or fashion, you suffer from some type of brainwash. I grew up as a Jehovah Witness, and inside of the Jehovah Witness organization, their members experience some of the strongest and repetitive brainwashing anybody could ever experience, in my humble opinion. And the first thing you need to know before I go into any of the more detailed aspects of brainwashing is that you need to know exactly the mindset you need to have in order to combat brainwashing. Now, one of the things that you should know about brainwashing is that it cannot happen without your participation. Now, that sounds crazy, I know. Like, why would anybody willfully participate in their own brainwashing? Well, you don't willfully participate in it. You kind of get tricked into doing it. Like, for example, Jehovah Witnesses, they try to get you to believe that you're a bad person, that you're not worthy of certain things. And all you have to do simply is to believe it. You get to the point to where you believe you're not worthy of love, or you're not worthy of the greatest things in life. You're just an evil sinner, and you're lucky that Jehovah let you live at all. The moment you believe that type of stuff, you're contributing to your own brainwash. Now, the same way one has to be a party to his own brainwashing, his or her own brainwashing, you have to be a party to your own awakening. You have to be willing to listen to information that you feel you shouldn't be listening to. You have to be willing to open up that security door and let in information. Now, what do I mean by security door? The first thing that you need to know in order to combat brainwashing is you can easily control the brainwashing that has happened to you. Very easy to do. I compare brainwashing, for the most part, to breathing. Now, if you go up to anybody outside and you tell them, hey, you're breathing, and you know you can control your breathing, at no point is anybody gonna ever say to me, what you mean I'm breathing? No, you're breathing, I'm not breathing, you're the breather. Like, that's just not gonna happen. It sounds ridiculous, right? But if you go up to somebody and say, hey, you're brainwashed, they'll say, no, I'm not brainwashed, you're the brainwashed one. That sound familiar? I bet it does. But this is how brainwashing works. When you think about it, when you realize that you are in control, you can control it. The same way with breathing. For the most part, we all can breathe without really thinking about it. But when you think about breathing, you can hold your breath, you can breathe faster, you can do anything you want to as far as breathing because you are in control. The same thing happens with brainwashing. When you realize that it's there and that you don't need to let it affect you, you can control it. I'll give you an example. One of the things you need to know as far as brainwashing and how to control it is that with any good brainwashing that's being done to anybody, there's a certain security system that's necessary in order for the brainwashing to work. And this security system controls information that goes in and out. is basically like a security door. If you put the right code in, the door will open. If you put the wrong code in, the door slams shut and ain't nobody getting in until the right code is put in. Let's test it out a little. God is not real. God has never been real. There is no information that supports the existence of God, and it's completely ridiculous to believe in God. Do you feel that? Do you feel a feeling as if you do not want to listen to anything else I have to say right now? Because if you do, that's a security door. Now just hear me out. That's all I ask, is that you hear me out. Because this is the thing. I believe in God. I think God is real. I think God 100% lead our life and give us everything we need in order to be okay. How could anybody deny the existence of God? That's crazy. You feel that? Does it feel like the words that I'm saying now is more receptive? Do it feel like, well, maybe I could listen to this guy after all? That's your security system right there. One code shuts the door, the other code opens it right up. But since you're in control, like I said earlier, the same way you can control your breathing, you can control what goes into your mind. And for the rest of this video, I want you to leave those security doors open. And I want you to realize the information that you get from me, you can determine whether or not it's real or it's fake or it makes sense or it does. Keep the door open. All right? So, okay, in this first video, I want to talk to you guys about the words used to brainwash people. Now, in my case as a Jehovah Witness, they use very specific words to brainwash people. For the most part, these are all protected words that we use on a day-to-day basis. And when I say a protected word, I mean a word that not only is used constantly, but the word also has an emotional connection to it. There's also memories and all types of other things connected to these words that make them more powerful. You know the term, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words have never hurt me? Yeah, that's the dumbest saying I've ever heard in my life. Because words said by the right person at the right time can be devastating to somebody. So let's look at the first word, love. Whenever you think about the word love, you will realize pretty quickly that it's one of those words that is 100% a protected word in our culture. When I say a protected word, I mean like this. If you go out on the first date with somebody and the date goes amazing, right? You guys are both having fun. You're both really excited about the second date. And then as soon as you pick the person up on the second date, the first thing they say is, I love you. You will think that person is crazy because you know what the word love means. You know what the word love tells. You know how much emotion is connected to the word love. It's a red flag for anybody to use it so early in a relationship. I don't care how great the first date was. It's simply too early to use. And so that word is very protected in our culture. Jehovah's Witnesses use that word very, very strategically. For example, they'll say that Jehovah loves you more than anybody in the world. He'll love you more than you love yourself. Jehovah is love. He is the definition of the word love itself. Love is Jehovah. But they also tell you that Jehovah God is willing to destroy you, his loved creatures, because you simply don't listen to him. Now, what does that do to the mind? It makes you look at the word love in a different light. For instance, I love people and I love a lot of people, but I'm not willing to hurt them for God. Because they teach that Jehovah is love, mentally, when you think about it, that forces a member of the Jehovah Witness organization to rationalize things like, okay, well, if Jehovah could kill somebody that he loves, then I could at least shun somebody that I love. That's a loving thing to do. If Jehovah can lovingly kill somebody, I could lovingly let somebody die refusing a blood transfusion. That's a loving thing to do. I can lovingly never meet my grandkids. I can lovingly never really go after the things I want to do because I love Jehovah so much. They've really taken that word and they've used it to get people to do all sorts of things that are 100% not loving, but they believe that it is. Another word that they use inside the Jehovah Witness organization is associate. Now, a lot of people that I know, when they just kind of don't really know somebody, but yet they find themselves around them all the time, like a workmate or somebody like that, just somebody who's generally not important to you, but you just find yourself around them all the time, you would call somebody like that an associate, or somebody you associate with. That word doesn't really carry a lot of meaning outside of the Jehovah's Witness organization. Inside of the Jehovah's Witness organization, that word is very powerful. They are very, very, very concerned with who you associate with. Because when you're trying to control the information that goes in and comes out of somebody's head, you have to control where the information comes from. So if you're around people who are not being fed the same information you're being fed, you have a chance of getting new information you didn't get before. Or some beliefs that you hold to be pretty true, you have a chance of having those beliefs questioned. This is something that cannot happen for somebody who's trying to brainwash somebody else. So you need to control the information that goes in and out. So inside the Jehovah Witness organization, your association is very, very important. They have a scripture: bad association spoils useful habits. Every Jehovah Witness knows this scripture, and it sounds like it's just kind of like one of those, random raggedy scriptures or whatever that just kind of gets thrown in. But this scripture is heavily harped upon inside the Jehovah Witness organization, simply because they're trying to control the information that comes in and goes out. That's why the word association to a Jehovah Witness, it stands out more than it would anybody else. Another word that the Jehovah Witnesses use is truth. Now, when it comes to the truth, this is something that the Jehovah Witnesses simply do not have. They named the organization The Truth. This is probably one of their more obvious brainwashing tactics, because you could just see that that's not the way you use the word truth. Truth is not a noun. You know what I mean? I would say it's more of a verb. Like, it is something, it's an action. You can be truthful. You can tell a story truthfully, You can't name something the truth. You know what I mean? Because that's not how the word works. But they've named themselves The Truth. Because, trust me, nobody outside the organization is referring to the Jehovah Witness organization as The Truth. Only members and former members do that. Now, the word truth is another protected word, because when it comes to the word truth, it's literally a life and death situation. When you're around people, you try to surround yourself with truthful people, because there may come a time in your life where you need to make a decision, and you need to not really have to sit down and think about it. You're going to need to be able to make a quick decision, and you're going to hopefully be around truthful people who can tell you the truth, and you can trust them, and you can make a quick decision that'll save your life. This is why most people prefer not to hang around untruthful people, because you're constantly being fed bad information, and if you're being fed bad information, you're going to make bad decisions, and if you're making bad decisions, you're not going to be happy. This is why they call the organization The Truth, because they're trying to repeat it. That's something that brainwashing needs. It needs repetitiveness. It needs to be constantly beaten into your head for you to get it. And by calling the organization The Truth, by saying that everything they put out is the truth, you start to believe, even on a subconscious level, that it's the truth, when it's 100% researchably not the truth. Another word that they like to use is brothers and sisters. I have been fortunate enough to have a lot of brothers and sisters. This is the thing about having a brother or a sister. There's a bond there that you will not get anywhere else. I don't care how good you get with your friends. And there's some good people out there, like some great friends that you could have. Some will treat you better than your actual brother and sister. But there's something about a relationship between a brother and a sister that you really just cannot replicate. Now, you can have some good friends and you can have some bad family members, 100%. But still, there's something about having a good brother and a good sister that you can't replace with anything else. These words are very powerful, and they're packed with a lot of emotion. So to call people inside the organization your brothers and your sisters on a subconscious level, that makes them family. If you can't associate with people who are not your family, and all you have is your family, right? So for your entire life, the only people you've been able to be around is your spiritual family. How much would it hurt if your brothers and sisters kicked you to the curb, didn't want to have nothing to do with you? How about this? What if your family is doing something you don't want to do? Most of the time, people can be individuals and just go off and do their own thing and don't have to risk losing their family. But if you're a Jehovah's Witness, you have to risk losing your brothers and your sisters. Just saying that out loud, it kind of makes you feel like, I don't want to lose my brothers and sisters. But that's exactly what happens inside of that organization. They get you to believe in this spiritual family and this love that's there but the love is 1,000% conditional. They only love you and they only want you to be around if you're doing what the organization says to do. If you're not doing what the organization says to do, then you're not going to get that love that you yearn for. Actually, you're going to be kicked to the curb. Another word that the Jehovah Witnesses use is privilege. When it comes to privileges, for anybody, that's something that you get and you get to have and enjoy that you don't really necessarily need. They use the word privilege very funny in the organization. They take things that are 1,000% unpleasant and 1,000% not fun, and they call them privileges. You have the privilege to work for us for free. That's literally like saying you have the privilege of being a slave. It sounds crazy, but when everybody is buying into that, it makes it seem like, yeah, I guess this is a privilege. Look at how happy everyone is. But inside of the organization, happiness, which is another word that they use, is not really happiness. Happiness is almost forced inside the organization. If you walk around and you're bitter and sad all the time, they'll have a shepherding call for you. Like, hey, what's going on? How can we make you happy? And usually you can tell that they're not really concerned with making you happy because of the things they tell you to do to make you happy. They're not going to tell you, well, what do you enjoy doing? Go out and do that. Do more things to make yourself happy. Find out what you love and have a passion for, and you go after that. No, they're not going to tell you that because that would lead to actual happiness. They're going to tell you to read the Bible more. Go out and field service more. Study the Watchtower. Do more things for the organization. That will bring you happiness. That should tell you right there, they're not concerned with your happiness. They're concerned with you doing more for the organization and them taking as much from you as possible. Remember why I said earlier, the reasons behind brainwashing. It's to control people. It's to gain and take advantage of people. It's not meant for the person being brainwashed to have a great life. That's not the goal of brainwashing. Never has been, never will be. So their operating is basically based in getting everything they can from each individual before kicking them out. That's the reason they brainwash. And their reasons for happiness, that's why they could use a word like privilege. You have the privilege of cleaning the toilet. You have the privilege of cleaning the Kingdom Hall. You have the privilege of doing all this free labor. Those are not privileges. Those are responsibilities that you should be paid for. Those are jobs. And there is no job in the world in which you go and you have to work constantly and it's considered a privilege to do it unless you're volunteering. And even when you volunteer, you know what you're getting into before you do it. They're trying to say that's what you're doing at the Jehovah Witness. You're volunteering to clean up. You're volunteering to do all this stuff. I remember being a Jehovah Witness. It felt a lot like work. It felt a whole lot like work and they didn't pay me a dime. Now I would say it's a voluntary thing if maybe you'd build a Kingdom Hall and they'd keep the Kingdom Hall, and if they had to sell it, they paid the people who helped build it. But no, they don't do that. They take that money after they build the Kingdom Hall and they sell it and they pocket that money. The people who actually did the blood, sweat, and tears and work, they get nothing. Don't sound like a privilege to me. One of the biggest words used to brainwash folks is the word faith. When you have faith in something, faith basically means that even though you may not have the evidence to show that this is going to happen, you believe this is going to happen. You have faith that this is going to happen. The word faith usually stops people from doing what people do best: work. Putting in the work and the effort to see the change that you want to see. I have an example. If somebody was locked into a room, you told them that the room is going to fill up with water, but don't worry about it. I'm going to send a guy in here and he's going to bust the door down and he's going to make sure the water doesn't affect you at all. Now you have a sledgehammer right there, but don't use that because that's just going to make sure that you break the door and you're going to definitely drown then. But just wait on the guy to come and he'll save you. You tell somebody that there's a chance that they're going to stay in that room and the water's gonna come and they're gonna drown. But what if you told somebody you're gonna stay in this room, the water's gonna come and you're gonna drown, and you leave out the door? That's it. That's all you tell them. They're gonna take that sledgehammer and they're gonna beat that door silly and they're gonna be out 2 minutes, tops. Because when you don't give people a false hope, when you don't give people some existential savior that's gonna come down and save them, it forces people to take matters into their own hands. That's exactly what we need most of the time. We need to be able to put our heads down and figure out what the problem is and how to fix it. Because when you let go and let God, that's putting the onus on something that hasn't a great track record of coming through in the clutch. Speaking from a a descendant of slaves, trust me. The record is a little shoddy. But the point is this. The word faith have been used to really do some horrible things on this planet. Now, if you want to be honest, faith, in my opinion, is like gambling. You're gambling that something is going to come and save you. You're gambling that once you die, you're going to be great, because you have no evidence. You've never talked to somebody who died and was resurrected and then boom, they can tell you what's going to happen. No, once you die, that's it. You can only talk to other living people who've never experienced death on what happens once you die. Now, with that said, inside the Jehovah Witness organization, they give their people faith that the end of the world is coming soon. And not only is the end of the world coming, they know exactly what to do when it happens. They're going to be safe. The earth is going to be destroyed in Armageddon, but they're going to be in paradise. And until then, even though we've made several claims of its, approaching day, 1914, 1915, 1925, 1975, all these dates that have come and gone, that the world was going to end. I remember even recently, Stephen Lett was saying, this is the final day of the last days of the final last days and all this stuff. Looks like the vaccine's going to be coming out pretty soon for COVID-19. They have used the word faith to take everything from their members, and they continue to do it to this day. Another word that they use inside the Jehovah Witness organization is Jehovah. Now, this is the big one, right? You see, the word Jehovah is their God. It's God. That's his name. But when you look at the actual scriptures, you'll see that, it's probably closer to Yahweh. So for them to get the very name wrong is kind of weird. But okay, whatever. We'll go off that. The word Jehovah is probably their most diabolical word they have in their entire arsenal, because it's literally God himself.
And Jay-Z.
Jehovah.
Sorry.
Nah, you good. And they use it exactly that way, because it's literally the word that they use to get stuff done, to get people to do things. What you'll never see the Jehovah Witness leadership do is say the governing body would like for you to do this. The governing body would like for you to do that. They don't use that. What they say is Jehovah wants you to do this. Jehovah wants you to say that, because you can't say no to God. Jehovah's God. You can't say no to God. If God wants you to build a new facility, you're gonna do it. If God says, hey, let your loved one die on the operating room table refusing a blood transfusion, you're gonna do it. They've taken the identity of God simply by, instead of saying governing body, they insert the name Jehovah, making it easy for them to get their members to do anything they want to. So to brainwash their members, they've simply stolen Jehovah's identity. Anything that they want to happen, just say, hey, I'm God's mouthpiece. This is what he wants you to do. Just so happens he's doing all the things that the governing body wants you to do. The governing body has for a long time now claimed that they speak for God. And basically, when you speak for God, technically you are God, because whatever you say, you're saying that God said. I look at it like this. If for some reason I couldn't go to court and my lawyer had to represent me, if he went in court and he said, Your Honor, my client says that he's guilty. Yes, it was him who's been putting dookie in all of the donut holes, and he's ready to pay the price for doing that. Now, if I did not do that, and I did not want my lawyer to say that, he would get disbarred. He would lose his license. There would be a penalty for that. Because when you have the opportunity to speak for somebody, if you don't do what we're saying to do, then there's a penalty to pay for that, correct? This is the thing. Whenever you try to speak to God, right, what does he say? Can you think about it? Like, what does he say back to you? Because whenever the governing body speaks to God, for some reason, he speaks with very good detail. Yes, I would like a new film production facility. Yeah, I need more money for the assault allegations. I need to sell some more Kingdom Halls and build some more Kingdom Halls. And yeah, let's look into Africa a little bit more. I think they really need some more spiritual guidance. I don't remember ever getting that much detail whenever I contacted God via prayer. So what are they doing and how are they getting all this detail? These are questions you got to ask yourself. Because if you're being honest, I don't think God would give them any more detail than he would any of his other servants. You know what I'm saying? What are they doing and how are they contacting God? Are they doing something different? Did Tony Morris do a seance or something with whiskey and crackers or something. I don't know. I don't know what you would use for a seance. But apparently they're getting more detail than us regular old folk. Now this is the point. If they claim to be God's mouthpiece on earth, how do you know at what point can you challenge what they say? Especially if they've gotten stuff wrong in the past. How can you say you speak for God and you get stuff wrong? You should be able to challenge them. Question. Can you challenge them without any repercussions? Well, that's pretty much all I gotta say today. The next video about brainwashing is gonna be some of the actions that they take to keep their members brainwashed. And as for now, if you would like to share this video, I'd appreciate it. And yeah, I guess I'll see you later. It's your boy, Jay the Comedian. I hope y'all having a great day. I'm having a great day. Holla at your guala. Deuces. Because it's literally God himself.
And Jay-Z.
Jehovah.
Sorry.
Nah, you good.